Good evening, fifth grade families. I just wanted to give you guys a couple of examples of some things today. I know that yesterday we had some problems logging into our math book. We did that today. I also will show you in just a second where you can find that again. But everybody logged in today and everybody was successful, so everybody should be under there. Let's say you're gone from math today, you were absent, or you forgot what you were supposed to do and you didn't have time to write in your planner. I just want to show you what you can do. So we're going to come to your Schoology page. You're going to find the math box. Okay? Today, this is where we can find everything. This is your planner board. This is where we can find our extra math links that the kids like to do. Here's how we get to Think Central. Here's the videos that I made about how to get into your math textbook. So if you click on this one, it should be an embedded video right here, and you can just hit play, and it'll show you how to do it. Should be pretty self-explanatory going forward there. But today, we're going to worry about Chapter 1. Okay, we're going to look at these lesson slides. A lesson slide folder that I put in there is what we did that day in class. Okay. What we did as a group, we went over together how to do a problem, how to figure out what we were doing for homework that night. This could come in very handy for you if you wanted to look back to help your child, or you can even use, your child can use this to say, oh yeah, now I remember what to do. Okay? It's always available and it's always up before the kids head home from school. So today was lesson 1.3. And kind of the way that if you look at the fifth grade planner board, and all the kids have it, and this is what they should have written in their planner, you see that today is Thursday, so lesson 1.3 properties, page 21, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But this is the key, so you know what to look for. So I'm going to click over here, and I'm going to go to properties, because that was what was assigned today. So we talked about the associative property, the distributive property, and the commutative property today. Okay? So this is what we did in class. This is just a snip, an exact copy of what we did together. We talked about our notebook. So if you have your notebook at home, you can pull it out and you can finish it before you even come back to school. So the first flap is called the distributive property. Our second flap is the commutative property. If you forget what it means, there it is. If you forget what the distributive property is, there it is. Okay, and here's our associative property. All three of them in their definition. Now we're going to go through some examples of how to use it. The table shows the number of bones in several parts of the human body. What is the total number of bones in the ribs, the skull, and the spine? So, ribs was 24, skull was 28, spine was 26. Okay, the reason we moved these around was to make it easier to use our mental math. So that's why we did this. It's a commutative property. Okay, I'm not going to bore you with all those, but here is some more examples, and then this is what we did to show what we did. Here was our associative property. We did it on the top flap. A couple more examples. Here was our commutative property. A couple examples. This was our distributive property, how that works, and then how our example was on the front. Once you get to the bottom, you're going to find this page right here. This page is what the homework assignment is. I will show the kids this page every day, and it will tell you what lesson, what page in our math book, and what numbers need to be completed. Their job is to make sure they put their name and the date on the paper. When I go to look at my page, here's where I filled out my name. I filled out everything just like it looked in that book. So now I know that I need to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. What I told the kids today is I want them to tear out the page. Tear out your page 21. Let me just close this down a little bit. So I told them to tear out page 21 to bring it home. I told them to circle which problems they had to do. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Circle them. Now they know which ones they need to do. Okay? So if we look at the example, we can see that how they did it here. If you want to write your problems on here, this is totally fine. But this sheet is not going to be turned in. So I told the kids, that they should use their loose leaf paper to do the problem. So I know that my problem says 5 times 23 times 2. 5 times 23 times 2. I'm going to use the commutative property to solve this. So I know I'm going to move the 2 and 23 around. 5 times 2 times 23. 5 times 2 is 10. I move my 23 down. 10 times 23 is 230. I use the commutative problem because I know that I moved numbers. I didn't move parentheses, and I didn't distribute any numbers anywhere. Okay, so for number 4, looking at it, I know that I'm going to need to use the distributive property. You can see it in our examples on our lesson slides. So when we do that, we're going to split up 51 and make it 2 numbers. So we're going to multiply 8 by 50, we're going to multiply 8 by 1, and then add those 2 together. 8 times 5 is 40, and I add my 0. 8 times 1 is 8. I know that 400 plus 8 is 408. Again, I use my distributive property. So let's say that I am done with numbers 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Once your white loose leaf paper is filled in, we're going to come back to our Schoology page. I'm going to go back to chapter 1. And underneath lesson slides in this red folder, it says chapter 1 assignments. Okay, today's assignment was 11-3, due Friday, September 16th, 2022. Okay, it's different because Mr. Svensson, my homeroom has math in the morning, and then there's 2 different times for Miss Landrew and for Miss Wetzel. But we'll click on this. Mine pops up a little bit different than yours, but this is what your students should look like right here. It will say Lesson 1.3, properties. Here it is again, page 21, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, page 22, 1 and 2, just like we've already written down. Okay, it says right here, you have made 0 of 1 attempts. You have 1 attempt remaining. Okay, so we haven't done anything yet. So when your student is ready, and I suggest that you complete your whole assignment on your loose leaf paper before you start in Schoology, because then you won't lose it if something happens. So click Start New Attempt. When we get our new attempt, you're going to see down here that there's 10 problems. That's how many problems we have to do today. We have 10 problems to do. Okay? We have 10 problems to do, and each one is giving us what we need to do. So it says, which property do we use? Page 21, number 3. If I look at my loose leaf paper, here's page 21, number 3. My answer was 230, and I used my commutative property. So I'm going to go back to here, and I can say which property did I use? Commutative. And my answer was 230. So now I'm ready for question number 2. When I click that, I know that my question number 2 says my answer was 408, and I used the distributive property. So I can go back to my, so I'm going to say distributive property, and my answer was 408. So when I get all of the rest of my answers done, when I get all of these questions done, I'm going to click review. When I get to review, it's going to show me that these are done because they have black. These ones that are white right here means that I have not made any attempt at those. Okay, so that means that I missed one and I need to go back. I'm not going to do that. Then on the bottom it's going to say finish. You click finish and it's going to say, would you like to submit this assignment? You say yes. Your assignment is submitted. I get it and I can grade that assignment. Now, your student's responsibility after that is to bring this paper to the basket in the math classroom. So, Mr. Svensson class uses the purple bin, Mrs. Wetzel's class uses the orange bin, and Mrs. Landrew's class uses the green bin. Those are the bins that each class goes in. I will take a look at the work portion, and I will look at the Schoology portion to make sure that you have it in. Okay? If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I am more than happy to help. Again, any questions, you can email me at school, and I will be sure to answer, and help. Have a great night, guys.